What's up, everyone? Ronnie Cruz here. Welcome back to Path of the Network Marketer, Day 3, Episode 3, going strong. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to get into Chapter 2, Phase 2 of my network marketing origin story. But before I get into all that, however, a couple things I wanted to let you know. You may have noticed that there's not very many frills. Well, actually, there's no frills. There's no frills. There's no bells and whistles to this podcast as of yet. It was one of those things where, I had, well, I still do actually. I want to add music, an intro song, an outro song, make a nicer cover photo, but all that was just taking too much time. And I had wanted to go ahead and launch this podcast on September 1st, which is the same day, actually, was the 1 year anniversary of my other podcast, Path of the Jedi. And so I thought, why wait any longer? I had already delayed for so long, waiting on those particular little details. And really, at the end of the day, they weren't necessary to launching this podcast. Obviously, I'll still work on those things, but I wanted to get this up and running so I can, deliver you guys the content that you deserve. Even with this particular episode from today, today's episode and yesterday's episode were recorded actually, weeks in between, right? Like there's a gap of a couple of weeks in between the recording of yesterday's episode and today's episode. So it was just taking too long, and I wanted to get it up and running. So here we are, very minimalist podcast as of right now. The other thing that I wanted to let you know was that I am actually currently, as of this recording, camping. I'm out and about, just the tail end of my vacation, actually. And because of that, you may hear some background noises. This camp in particular that we're at down in Georgia is relatively calm, but a lot of people are coming in for the holiday weekend. So you may hear the occasional motor vehicle or motor coach RV drive by. You'll certainly hear some animals in the background, birds and whatnot. You might occasionally hear my dogs going crazy as people walk by our camp. So just so you know, I'll do my best to try to record around those things and edit those things out, but there will occasionally be those instances where I can't get it out of the recording. Ooh, speaking of, a deer just ran by the road, ran right in front of me. I'm strolling around right now as I'm recording this. That's neither here nor there. So just those a couple things to consider as you listen to today's episode and maybe the next 2 or 3 episodes in the coming days. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, back to the story at hand. Where we left off yesterday was that I had joined Quickstar Amway, and that was my gateway into the profession. I would say springboard, but it wasn't much of a springboard, and it's not the company's fault. It was just, I didn't do well in that particular opportunity for many reasons, which I don't really care to get into. It's certainly not the company's fault. What I found over the years of my career is that Quickstar / Amway has actually been responsible for launching a lot of network marketing careers, or at least introducing a lot of network marketing leaders to the profession. So I'm happy that was my experience. I'm happy to be part of that list, right? But in that particular opportunity for me, not much results at all. Not much results. I think I might have sponsored 3, maybe 4 people tops. I did what I thought I needed to do, and what I was being told would bring me success. I attended all the events, and I read all the books and listened to all the tapes. Right back then, it was tapes. I wasn't able to kind of translate any of that into skills that brought me better results in my business. And so I eventually just kind of started to fade away from it. And it was really, about 1.5 years or so, maybe 2 years in, that 9/11 happened, right? 9/11, and so by this time I was already mostly kind of inactive. But 9/11 happened, and there was so much uncertainty in the world. There was so much uncertainty, of course, in the U.S. that I didn't. Yeah, the last thing I wanted to do was attend our annual conference, which was happening that weekend. Right, the event still happened, and I'm sure it was a great event, and probably would have done me a lot of good to attend. But I was just not in the headspace after something like 9/11, right? And so yeah, from then on, I just kind of faded out of the company. And yeah. I mean, I never really, I didn't make a firm like I quit kind of situation. It just petered out because, I was putting in this effort and I wasn't getting any results. So from here, the story it's just kind of goes everywhere. At this point, I had been laid off from the flooring distributor company at least a year. So yeah, I was bouncing already at this time, bouncing in and out of temp jobs and odd jobs. With the movie theater, working at a movie theater was the one job that really I could rely on. It was the movie theater was something that was very consistent in my life during this period, because well, it was simple work. I could get hired at pretty much any theater that I applied to, and I could tolerate it both mentally and emotionally, right? And of course, the perks of getting free movies. I love movies, and being able to go to see a movie anytime on a big screen was enough for me to just always have a movie theater job in my back pocket. Fast forward though to, I think it was about 2004, late 2004, when I decided to just drop everything and move to New York City to pursue my acting career. Right, like yeah. I mean, I was in my mid-20s by this point, and yeah. I mean, like if I was going to do it, I might as well do it now, right? Like while I was still young, and I was young and dumb enough to kind of take those kind of risks anyway. So I moved up to New York without a plan, other than like, well, I was working on a two-man show with a good friend of mine from college, so that was really the only plan. And I ended up living in New York for about 2 years, and it was there that the story kind of gets really pretty crazy, because I was sending out my headshots, my resumes, I was auditioning for things, and and I'm going to tell this story at length some other time, but I ended up getting cast in Pirates of the Caribbean, and this is the craziest thing, Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2. They were looking for natives. They were looking for cannibals, actually, for that scene where Johnny Depp and the rest of the crew get captured by the cannibals. And I was actually, yeah, I got cast as one of those cannibals. And so that particular role led to getting cast as one of the pirates in Part 3 at World's End. And then, it was that particular film shoot, working on sets in Los Angeles and in, the different places in Southern California, that I met some people. I met a castmate who, on one of our days off, actually, he started asking me some questions about, do I keep my options open as far as, health? Like, am I into health, and am I into alternative modalities of health? And, already by then, like the Quick Star experience and having done that for a couple years, already, my radar is already open, and I can hear network marketing language when it's coming, right? Like I knew this was a network marketing pitch. However, I was definitely open to health. I was at an age, this was, I was getting towards the later half of my 20s at this point, where I'm thinking about my health a lot more, and so yeah, I gave him my email address, and he sent me to his website or whatever, and I got put into his mailing list, and it would just email campaigns, right? Email campaigns. They would send me an occasional email, selling the product and the business, and it wasn't until I got done with Pirates and I got home that I took a look at the website, and it really, yeah, from a product standpoint and a business standpoint, it just kind of made sense. Like I was really attracted to what was being offered, and at that time I had a little bit of money, so I ended up enrolling myself, right? I ended up signing up for that company, and it was yeah, it was an exciting time because again I had a little bit of success with acting, and so I had a little bit of money saved up, and why not invest and try to grow that money and have something on the side. Again, I still believed in the profession despite my lack of results in Quickstar. So I jumped into this company. It was called. This was during the juice craze, right? Like so many like health juices were popping up left and right in network marketing. I joined a company called XanGo, primarily, honestly, well, obviously the products, but outside the products, I was drawn to the particular leader that whose team I ended up being a part of. He was younger than I was used to seeing in the profession, because again, my only exposure to the profession was Quickstar, and that typically had an older demographic. This individual that was in the emails and the videos and that was leading this team, yeah, well, I was very, very kind of drawn to. He had a more youthful energy. He was closer to my age, right? So I signed up. I joined that company, and yeah, I did my time. XanGo was my second company, and well, yeah. It was quite a ride. Yeah, I drank a lot of juice. Definitely drank a lot of juice. And I saw more success with this particular company. There was a lot of momentum. I had joined at a time right towards the tail end of the hockey stick, right? Like this company hit $1 billion very, very quickly. I think within 5 years of their launch, and I caught a little bit at the tail end of that, and so that allowed me a little bit of success. Right, my family by this point were more open to health things. They were more open to network marketing, and so they actually all loved the product, and they were familiar with the product, right? Like at least the ingredients. They were familiar with mangosteen. Since we're from the Philippines, everybody knew what a mangosteen was in the Philippines, and so yeah, like I signed up a bunch of my family, and yeah, started making a little bit of money. Yeah, yeah. So that's where it was. Like obviously, I'm no longer with that company because that company no longer exists. I mean, at least in the form that it existed back when I started. I believe they were bought out a couple of years ago by another company. I don't really keep track of industry news. But yeah, thankfully it didn't quite work out, and yeah, I'll tell you guys all about why it didn't work out in the next episode. So that was my journey from Quickstar to XanGo, and tomorrow we'll get back and finish up the story from XanGo to Yoli. So thanks for tuning in. Much of the same again tomorrow. We're going to close out my story, and then after that we'll start to get into some real network marketing tips and tools and ideas, and let you guys know what I'm doing with online stuff and social media. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. There's going to be a new episode every day, so if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you feel like it, hit me with a rating and a review. I know it's still very early in the show, well, yeah, I mean, like if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I encourage you to stick around for more, because there is going to be a new episode every day. So lots to come from me. Until next time, everybody, be well, be safe, and may the force be with you.